And we're up. All right. Last time on A Crown of Cold Iron, our band of intrepid heroes continues their journey beneath the Raven Palace in this lost extra dimensional dungeon where the most important and dangerous elements of the palace were stored away by the Tuathan Knight Mort. Our adventurers are seeking a phantasmal copy of the Seal of the Raven King, an artifact that was partially used to create this space, and one which is an echo of the true Seal of the Raven King in the historical palace up above. But they have found that this dungeonous Raven Palace has been corrupted by some kind of baleful white fire left behind by a horrifying creature who seems to have revived some of the foes that were fought here before. So the party has fought through several wings of the palace, is currently in the personal wing of the Raven King, the former residence of Auric in his previous life. But along the way, some unfortunate discoveries have been made. Just before we closed, Auric discovered that one of the still sealed chambers on this hallway was some kind of experimentation chamber, which was used by the ancient wizard called the Blackthorn to create the horrific anti-Fey weaponry which was used in that war 1500 years ago. So we resume. Auric has just discovered this news and has retired to the royal bedchamber, leaving Lexi and Cyrus to mill about in the library or any other room they choose. Speaking of, oh, there's Lexi. I was like, where did Lexi go? So what would you
Which
all
is
like to
funny
do?
because I couldn't see Cyrus. Um,
I feel like I think there's a desk in the library that we hadn't really examined yet. I
yeah, I
think
see it
Cyrus
down in
wanted
the
to go
bottom
take a look at
corner.
that.
Yep, there is a desk. There was an arcane control chamber or control console, which Auric was using to interact with some of the defensive and divinatory spells that help protect this place. There's also a lot of bookshelves. So, going to check out the desk, give me an investigation check.
14.
With a 14, there is a lot of sort of degraded paper here. It seems like a lot of this was just day-to-day reports and communication that Bran received. It also looks like maybe some things that were once like handwritten notes, all of which you're kind of having to work out by the structure because most of this is in the ancient common, which you are not familiar with. But most of the pages here are pretty wrecked.
Okay. Um, I think probably also per, just kind of take a glance at the bookshelf, see if anything jumps out. But
Yeah, give me a fresh investigation check.
28.
All right. There is a lot of stuff here, but it's actually really easy to tell what's important because a lot of the books are basically destroyed. They've sat here for so long that they have rotted. The flip side, though, everything that's left that's in decent condition has to be magical. Process of elimination. And there is still a lot of stuff left on these shelves. You spot roll Roll 1d4 for me.
You-
You find two massive spell books. Not beginner primers like the voluminous and enchanted texts of a powerful wizard. You don't recognize the language of like the notes that are written in it, but you recognize the sort of fundamental structure of arcane magic. And these are top notch. Not immediately useful for any of you, but probably very valuable to someone like the Blackthorns.
Yoink.
Also, in the process of looking, there are yeah. Roll roll 1d20 for me.
12.
You find 12 magical scrolls. I got to count them off. Oh.
Cool. Cyrus will just sweep those into bag of folding for now.
There we go. I'll send you the list. Once I remember where we send things. Took longer than it should have. There are also 3 boxes of paper birds. I guess these would actually have been in the desk. Sorry.
Uh, Cyrus will pull one out and take a look at it.
So you pull it out, and it's a box with sort of origami birds just sort of nestled into it. They're not quite perfectly stacked because they fill sort of all of the space. When you open it and you grab one, it kind of flutters a little and sort of unfolds itself. And then in your hand, it like unfolds into a full sheet of paper.
Is it blank?
It is blank.
Okay. Can I refold it? Can I
Uh,
like see the crease lines and follow, or did they smooth out?
if you like let go of one side, it will fold itself
Ah,
back
okay.
and slot back in the box.
Yeah, okay.
Is there anything else y'all want to check out in here?
Yeah, I don't think Cyrus is gonna flip any switches. So
I think I might look at some of the books. Just kind of glance at the shelves and see if there's anything that really grabs me.
So give me an investigation check. We'll see what happens here. A lot of these are very degraded materials that have
Yeah.
sort of come apart.
Well, that was a nat one, so 5.
I mean, I think this sort of tracks. Like Cyrus just went through and plucked out all of like the magical stuff. So what's left were just sort of normal books, And you're sort of at a
Mm.
disadvantage because they're normal books. This would be like if you went into a room full of like almost destroyed almost destroyed books in like a proto-Germanic language. Like
Hmm.
you look at it and you're like, I recognize some of these arrangements of letters,
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean anything to me.
sounds about right.
So I had Stultus make an insight check, and he has sort of like awkwardly come into the room where Auric is, but is not really saying anything. This is not his area of expertise, but he's just sort of keeping an eye on Auric.
Sounds good. I think I'm safe in here. You can, you know, guard the hallway or something. Unless you want to sleep, you're probably getting tired.
He sort of like raises one of his big like armored eyebrows at you, like,
Hmm. I ain't going nowhere.
and he just sort of stays like leaning up against the wall. So what else would you all like to do before you take a rest?
I don't know. I'm good.
Could Cyrus try to like, I don't even know, figure out what, like, do a self investigation to figure out what happened with his raven motes?
Yeah. This is going to be.
Like, can I like use the like magical magnifying glass on myself?
I think that'll help if you figure out what it is. Give me an investigation check with advantage.
Okay. 28.
Oof. So you still have this like pocket of broken ring fragments. You're not sure what those are for. But what you do realize is these arcane motes, these sort of bubbles of raven touched energy that have been accumulating around you, they're gone. And so you're basically doing sort of a pat down. Like, what is different? What form is ill omen in when you just are walking around?
Um, Sword.
So you find them sort of hanging what off like a belt, I guess.
Yeah.
They feel strange. And it's not consistent. I think maybe what draws your attention as you're sort of patting down is it's almost like ill omen is vibrating slightly. But then as you touch it for a second, it goes like hot and then cold. And then it sort of vibrates again. And then it lights up a little bit. Now you might want to use that glass and make an Arcana check.
Okay. All right, so as a nat 20 and then an extra proficiency bonus, so that's a 31 total.
All right. There's no
Okay.
surprise here.
Boom.
We got to honor the nat 20. Um, your brain sort of crystallizes in this moment. It you take a lot of information, things that you've learned recently, things that you've known for a while, and all these pieces sort of click into place. So you've been on this sort of journey, and your starting point was, what am I? This was sort of Cyrus's question, almost a year ago now. What am I? And you have slowly nailed this down. You have discovered this history, this sort of ritual that tried to unravel you as a child, to create a changeling. You know about sort of Mort rescuing you, about him providing you with the sort of life essence you needed to survive, causing you to become this sort of hybrid existence. You've also realized that Mort is a lot more than he has presented himself as. Um, you remember? I don't remember the context. At one point, you've seen the scars that Mort has, and Mort has a lot of them. And you know that somehow this is related to the artifacts that he creates, things like your Corvid mantle, the Ravening bracers, um, the Conspirator's coat. You also know that it's related to how you and Alex and Sana all sort of came to be. And in this moment, your mind makes a leap that you would maybe not have thought of before. I think maybe in the back of your head, you wanted to think that you are more substantial, more fancy somehow than like the coat or the daggers or one of these items. And the thought that crystallizes is, maybe it's not as hard of a distinction as you thought it was. Ill Omen is changing. Something has started, and it's not finished yet. It hasn't sort of found its new equilibrium. But you feel something stirring in them that is complicated for sure. It was going to be a much sort of slower play until you rolled an at 20. You all have had some real clutch nat 20s on like lore check kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I wasn't prepared to give you this much information.
Yep. Congratulations. Lou is some kind of immortal magic thing. Here you
Yep.
go.
Here you go.
I think each of you have had one of those moments. Because
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
sure.
Auric has had something with the Raven Queen that was like that.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I also had the clutch natural one where I didn't want it to be revealed yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. All right. So you all sort of checked out the study. Cyrus, you know that something has started with ill omen that will probably have unusual effects.
Yep.
Stultus is awkwardly hovering over an emotionally distraught Auric.
I'm fine. Everything's
Poor
fine.
Auric. Found out that your girlfriend's family tried to kill you.
Fine. Everything's fine. We're gonna burn it with fire anyway.
All right.
Oh,
Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right.
I'm sitting down on the couch now so that I can sleep.
Oh, y'all gonna hang out in there?
I'm claiming the couch as my nap spot.
I
You
figured y'all
all
would come into the bedroom.
grab a quick long rest. I'm gonna go let my dog
I was
in
gonna
from
say, am I
outside.
gonna climb into bed next to you? Is the bed big enough?
I mean, it's a king's bed, so bigger than a king size.
That's true.
Cyrus could almost just catnap. Like I'm not refreshing much.
Yeah.
I used a lot of spells.
Yeah.
I lost like over half my health, so
I'm down 10 hit points and like one spell slot.
yeah. And I think I've raged a few times since.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that I was running low on rage.
So I figured the two of you would come into the bedroom and then I would try to unfold the magical wardrobe in front of the door.
What do you mean to block it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. Fine.
Not that I know if that's actually, possible in a relatively short amount of time, but
If you want me to go do that, I'll go do that.
if that's not what Lexi was gonna do, then
Well, if you tell me, I'll do things. Like, you gotta tell me these things.
I don't think we're getting attacked in our sleep either way. So if you don't come in, then it's just not gonna be a thing that happens while Colby's off screen anyway.
You all just get a message pops up like roll initiative. Yeah. You know that this particular hallway is a little more locked down than most of the rest of the building. And you have mostly cleared it out at this point.
Right.
All right. Anything else?
So for the record, how long does it take to unfold the wardrobe?
So you should have the wardrobe in your inventory now.
Yeah, I think I looked it up last week and
It does have a lot of text.
yeah.
So to unfold it is 24 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
that's
That's
not
not
happening
happening.
Can't just use it to block a door while you sleep.
No, it is. It's sort of like your stash from a video game. It's really substantial storage, but it only works in like a safe location that you return to regularly.
Right. So I think probably what happens is I start trying to unfold it in front of the door, realize, oh wait, and stop.
Y'all do
Oh,
also
well.
have the mage killer daggers if you want to figure out what to do with those.
Set them up
Yeah.
as spikes in front of the door.
I'm a little bit scared to say it, but because I want to hold on to those because I'm the most susceptible to them.
Right.
But also, I'm not really a dagger user, and also they require attunement, and I'm already fully attuned.
Okay. That's true.
Stultus is already pretty well set against magic users, right? It was
He hits them real hard.
yeah.
Yes.
I think he would also not know what to do with a dagger.
That I can see.
Cyrus, Lexi, one of you want some?
Daggers are kind of tiny for me.
I feel like they're like this big, and Stultus's hand is like this big.
Yeah.
So this is like it's like him holding like a baby spoon or
You'd have to
something.
like throw them between two fingers like a dart.
It's like the sample spoons that they give you at Baskin Robbins,
Yep.
little tiny pink ones.
Attunement is like a short rest thing, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
It's weird, some of these rules that like you play forever and they just don't come up.
Oh.
Let's double check. Yeah, short rest. And you do have to snuggle with it.
Yeah.
Getting nice and cozy.
I've got this long sword as well. Where did that come from? Oh, right, the armory.
Right.
A couple of +1 short swords. I just got stuff, man.
You
I don't
do.
know.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it was an armory. Just random stuff.
What did you expect, dude?
Between the armory and then stuff that you found, the magical stuff that you found in the wardrobe.
Mm,
Although, depending on how you sort of think that through, you might or might not be able to access those right this second.
it's all good. I don't need to change clothes yet anyway. Although once we get out, I'm giving Stultus this hat of disguise.
That might be handy for him.
Yeah, I mean, I can use the daggers, but I don't know. I'm also out of slots, and so I don't know that it's better than. I don't know that they're better than
Do I even have slots?
Right.
I'm pretty
using
sure
using
I
my
have
bow.
slots. Yeah, I don't even have slots.
Yeah, y'all get into that awkward spot where it's like, well, we've got stuff.
I have a lot of loot.
All right. Well, you can hold on to those for now. You all take a long rest to get everything back, which is good because you all were really starting to run low there.
Yep.
All right. There are 2 rooms left on this hallway, and there is the Great Hall down below. You know that there is some kind of creature in Bran's personal sort of lab that Auric disrupted with the room's wards. There's also whatever is in that southern room that Bran didn't necessarily want to think about.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
Well, I want to clear them both out. So the question is, which one do we do first?
Yeah.
I know that whenever I attuned myself to that uh magical desk, patched myself into the system, it told me that at least 2 of the things in there were undead.
Oh, lovely. Always a personal favorite dealing with the undead.
And I think one of them, the other one was another fragment of the War Raven.
Okay.
Yes.
And I don't know if I recognized what the thing was in the top room.
It was. It seemed like it was some combination of. It was sort of like what you've been dealing with here. But I think you specifically ascertained it's sort of like the baleful ravens, but instead of being a swarm, it seems centralized.
Okay. Lexi, Cyrus, any preferences?
Flip a coin.
All right.
Where are we
Evens
headed?
north, odds south.
Which one did you bother again with the?
The one by itself.
Okay. Do you think you could do that? I mean, I assume it maybe rested up when we did. Do you think it's worth trying to poke it again before we go in?
I can give it a shot.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, first I'll check and see if it's still there. Because
It could have moved. Doubtful, but it could have. Like that's yeah.
Your impression is that because these creatures are unnatural, they don't really heal in a obvious, consistent way.
okay, cool. I'm gonna try and poke it with the magic defenses some more.
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
Yep. Hey, a 13.
Not too bad.
Not too good either.
I'll say
Yeah.
so. I think what you find here is, it can only sort of do so much for you. You had difficulty last time because whatever's in there partially reads as Mort,
Right.
and the system was sort of built around Mort.
Yep.
Right.
So the system is like, wait, no, but friend.
Yeah, it doesn't really want to wreck shop on something that feels like Mort. And you've already sort of heard it as much as it's going to let you.
Yep. All right. Well, Lexi, Stultus, you all want to kick in the door and beat something up?
Sure. Which door are we kicking?
Up
The-
here next to Stultus.
Okay. I will kick in the door.
All right. You open the door. You can see that there are sort of runes all along the floor here that are normally invisible but have been activated by whatever Auric has done.
Okay.
There is a large. Although, do you even have enough light? You catch a glimmer of something large in the corner.
Yeah, I see a glimmer of something large in the corner.
But since you've already poked your head in the door, let's go ahead and roll for initiative.
I was gonna say.
It was almost a 20.
Dude, I rolled a 3 and a 4. Y'all gonna have to go around me.
Well, I ain't going around. I'm shooting around.
Well, either way, y'all gonna have to aim around my ass because I'm standing at the door in last place with a 6.
All right. The top of the initiative is Cyrus.
I'll duck.
So, what can Cyrus even see?
I don't think I can see it at all from where I'm standing.
You see just like a little bit of something. And you can see that there are some sort of arcane apparatus scattered around the room. What looks like a some kind of like magical circle set in the center for spell work. Um, yeah, what would you like to do?
Is it this thing? Well, I don't know how to click on it. Is it the thing next to the table?
Yes, where that red just popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not sure why your dark vision isn't helping as much as it should. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, there is something there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think Cyrus is going to do a tip to hide behind Lexi and like shoot around her.
Meat shield.
All right, roll a stealth check.
Well, it's a nat 2 for a 15.
It is not fooled.
Okay.
God damn it. Wait, I should ask. Is it not fooled meaning that it knows that it wasn't Lexi? Or is it not fooled meaning that it sees that there's something there, including Lexi?
It spotted Cyrus.
I spotted it.
Okay.
All right. 26 to hit
26 does hit.
for 8 damage.
Probably not going to protect Lexi any. But...
All right, your arrow hits, and there is a little spark of light as your arrow hits something. All right, it is Stultus's turn. What should Stultus do?
Shit, as you roll underneath Lexi's legs.
I think you can let him pass without any difficulty.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he should be able to move through you.
Stultus, go smash.
All right, Stultus lets out a roar. So that's as far as he can get on his movement. Trying to decide, would you rather have Stultus dash and get all the way up in its face, or get to here and dodge?
At this point, I think get there and dodge.
All right. Warwick, it's your turn.
Okay. I think I can do that. 5, 10. Yeah, that's more than enough space. I also don't know why I'm setting myself at 30 feet when I don't even know what spell I want to cast yet.
It's cool.
No worries. Yeah, actually, I am going to find out how strong this thing is by casting Maximilian's Earthen Grasp.
All right,
So
so
it
that's a
needs to
strength
make-
saving throw.
Strength save of 18.
All right. It got a nat 1.
Well then.
All right. So it takes 9 bludgeoning damage and is restrained.
Very good.
And I am concentrating.
All right.
What?
So you will not be surprised to find out it didn't enjoy that.
No, really.
Is there anything else you want to do?
Apart from figure out which emblem I want for concentrating, no.
All right. I think there actually is a. It's like a thought bubble. This one.
Yeah, perfect.
So this earthen hand grasps around this creature, and now that the room's fully illuminated, you can see that it is a large black raven, but it's run through with these burning white and orange flames. It one of its eyes seems to be gone, and the other is warped and flickering as fire pours out of it. It lets out a shriek, and it is going to make its displeasure known.
Holy shit.
Nope, that's not remotely the right size. Hold on.
Oh no, it's even bigger.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Is that a fireball?
It is a massive sphere of burning radiance. It just sort of, in a very un-Raven like gesture, it's almost like you see the fire that's like pouring off of its body. It's almost like it inhales it and then.
Blows it.
So each of you needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Fun. Oh, good. I am proficient. 17.
All right, come on. 29. I rolled a nat 20 on that sucker.
Nice. Both of you saved. So Stultus is going to use his reaction on himself to roll with advantage. Stultus also saves.
Yay.
It's still going to hurt.
I know. And I haven't had my turn yet.
Oof. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not angry
Yikes.
yet.
Were you not raging before you kicked in the door?
No, because we hadn't rolled initiative.
So you can get angry and then kick the door in.
I can?
Yeah.
You're telling me this now?
You might also have like a feature. Maybe not. You also roll initiative with advantage. Did you remember to do that?
I did, and I rolled a 3 and a 4.
Yikes.
Yeah. It sucked.
Yeah, I'm willing to say that you can rage because you knew that was about to happen. So we'll say you can
Okay.
rage,
Okay.
which is good because
I'm gonna die. Yeah.
you'd probably be okay. But Auric and Stultus are going to take 27 points of radiant damage,
Ow.
and Lexi is going to take 13.
That's already halved. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I need to make a Constitution save, don't I?
Yes. And it's going to be what, 27? So 13.
Well, an 8's not going to cut it.
Nope, it is no longer restrained.
You tried, honey.
Oof. Yeah, it's going to hang out where it is. Lexi, you're up.
Okay, great. Because that means I have to go through fire. Oh, the fire stopped?
Oh yeah,
okay.
no, that was just me targeting the effect.
Okay. It was like it was still on my screen, so I was like, okay, but so let's see here. Come on, kid. You know how to do this. No. How do I get it? I'm within 40 feet, aren't I? I can never remember how to click and drag to see how far I have to.
The ruler.
No, stop that. Bad. It always does the wrong thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got just enough to get there.
All right. Stab it with my spear. 21.
21 will hit.
All right. That is 12 piercing damage plus 6 lightning damage.
All right.
And I repeat the action. And that's 24 to hit
That will also hit.
with 10 piercing and 6 lightning. I will give kiss and treats.
All right. That puts us back to the top with Cyrus.
Cool. Have I got? I've got line of sight on it from where I am. Yeah, I think
Say that again.
I can see it fine from where I am without needing to move. I think.
Let's double check that line of sight. Yeah, you got all of it.
Okay.
I don't know how to get out of your line of sight. Stop it. There we go.
Why are you moving me?
I couldn't figure out how to get it out of Cyrus's line of sight.
We're gonna drop a hex on it. Don't think I figured out if there's any particular thing that matters to hex, but we'll say we're hexing strength in case we try the restraining again.
Yeah, I
Might
think
make a difference.
traditionally in combat, strength for the purposes of athletics and wisdom for the purpose of perception and insight.
Yeah.
19 hits. The fact that it's not saving throws, I mean, it makes sense for a level 1 spell, but it does make it weird to figure out what to target. Nice.
So 11 plus.
All the damage. Jeez.
24 piercing and 2 necrotic.
Nice.
It was already a little hurt from what Oric did to it with the defenses. It's now very hurt. All right. Anything else?
Nope, I think that covers it. I don't feel like I have any reason to move. So
All right. It is Stultus's turn. Just, yeah. I think with this thing already being pretty hurt, well, Oric, would you rather Stultus try to heal you or go punch the thing?
Go punch the thing so it doesn't hurt us again.
All right.
We can heal after.
He is going to use his. Yeah, I think he's going to go for his breath weapon. And he's going to deal half damage. for 11. All right, Auric, you're up.
Okay. Important question. It looks fiery, right?
Specifically, so you found that most things here are immune or resistant to radiant. A few things have also been resistant to fire.
Okay. Good thing I have the Evoker's Exchange. I'm just gonna go ahead and cast Scorching Ray, but change it to lightning damage. All right, so that's 3 bolts because I'm gonna do it as a second level spell. The first one is a 23 to hit
That'll hit.
for, well, hang on. How much is that damage?
4.
Yeah, 4 damage because, yeah. Do it a second time. That'll be a 27 to hit
That hits.
for an additional 7 lightning damage. Third one is going to be 16.
16 does still hit.
All right. For 6 more lightning damage.
It is a big creature and it is not armored. Anything else?
Yeah.
Good call. It is that creature's turn. It's going to see if it recharges. Oof. It had a 5 and then it rolled to the 1. It does not recharge. But now it's going to do something super annoying. Well, maybe. Yep. With an alarmingly powerful flap of its wings, it like spirals between Lexi and Stultus, squeezes through the door, and is going to attack Auric.
Oh, lovely.
Shenanigans.
It has the flyby feature. It does not provoke opportunity attacks when it flies out of an enemy's reach.
And I unattuned from one of my defensive items.
Yep.
Oh,
It is going to bite
yeah.
you. 18 to hit.
I believe that hits.
Yeah.
14
Hang on,
piercing and 10 radiant.
I'm looking at my other defensive items real quick.
Like, what else do I have here?
Oh, wait, did you do that with disadvantage?
Oh, that's right, because of your displacement. Reroll is a 28.
Okay, well, then I get hit.
And it's going to batter you with its wings.
So, how much was that one?
14 piercing and 10 radiant.
Was that the first one or the second one?
That was the first one.
Okay, so that's 24 damage. Ouch.
The second to hit is only a 14 with disadvantage. No, the second one doesn't have disadvantage, but that was still the first roll. All right, that was its turn. It is now that it's this close, you can see that all of these wounds over it, these sort of charred electrical patches, the weird acid fire burns from Stultz's breath, Lexi's horrible stabbing wounds. This thing is bleeding white radiance. It is very injured and very angry. Lexi, you're up.
Okay. So, gonna follow it. And gonna get to the right number. And gonna stab a stabby. That's a 24.
24 will hit.
And that is 13 points of piercing damage. Come hither. And roll one more. And 6 points of lightning damage. Man, I keep rolling a 6 on that.
As the broken spear stabs into it, lightning just, and you see this thing's. It doesn't have a full skeleton, which is weird. It seems to be partially, because of its unreal nature, it is not fully decked out inside. But you do see some kind of skeleton. Skeletature?
Okay.
Is that the right phrase?
Sure.
Sure.
I think it's just skeleture, but I could be wrong.
Skeleture. Yep, there we go. All right. Yeah. You see it sort of illuminated from within, and then it comes apart, and you see streamers of that sort of white, baleful fire coming off of it. But also, Cyrus, do you have your bow or your short sword in your hand right now?
It would still, I think it would still be in bow form since he didn't have a chance to swap them before when it came rushing in.
So this thing sort of dissolves into two spiraling streamers that separate. Out one side comes that baleful white fire, which forms into like I don't know, slightly larger than a softball-sized glowing sphere. This other energy, which is sort of dark with a translucent quality, starts to form into a little raven. And Cyrus, you were holding your bow. Suddenly you're holding one of your short swords, and it like snakes out. And as this little raven forms, it slashes through and it's gone. You hear just a satisfied little hum.
Did your sword just eat it?
Yeah.
Nom, nom, nom.
Stultus is going to go ahead and use his, and I'm going to clarify this on his stat sheet, but his lay on hands is going to be once per short rest out of battle. In battle, he can keep recharging it if it comes up, but he gives Auric 16 points of healing.
Okay. Well, I'm still below half, but I'm better than I was. I also
And
have a potion somewhere.
thing Colby has learned, track Stultus's health out of combat. Because as far as D&D Beyond knows, every Stultus is a new creature.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right. So you all can now see this sort of darkened arcane ritual room. There is some alchemical equipment up against one of the walls. Some one of those sort of arcane workstations you've seen several places. And also the bulk of the room is surprisingly open, with what seems to be a ritual circle inscribed on the floor. What would y'all like to do?
I'm gonna search around.
All right, give me investigation with advantage, because you know this place.
It's good because I only have a +1 on investigation. 14.
All right. Your attention is drawn to this console. And you can tell that this console is integrated into the structure of this room the same way that the other one was. But this one is more localized. It controls just this space. Give me an Arcana check with advantage.
15.
With a 15. So this room has an extra layer of defenses, even over and above what the rest of this hallway has. And you can tell that they are centered on this console. And as you sort of poke at it, you get the impression that you could cannibalize part of this system here. Somewhere in the back of your head, you remember setting this up. You remember sort of how this was put together, and you feel like with the materials here, you could rebuild this somewhere else for a similar size space.
Awesome. I was about to ask Stultus to help me disassemble, but I think he only knows destructive disassemble.
Yeah, it wouldn't be great. I'm gonna give
Stultus,
you.
don't help.
What should we call this?
You want Cyrus to help?
That would be a good thing, yeah.
Cyrus is probably decent at some part of this, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anything you're unfamiliar with, I can point in the right direction.
So I've added a new item that's just listed as arcane investiture materials. And as you sort of pick away, you can see parts of the room kind of go dim and then sort of wink out as you pull pieces out of this. Thankfully, with Cyrus's help, it's more like you all are sort of unsocketing and like unplugging pieces, more so than like ripping them out of the wall.
Yeah. And when we're putting it back together, we can have some Blackthorn help.
Mm-hmm.
Vela's gonna be so happy.
I'll trade her a book.
All right, there is one last room.
Yep. With undead thingies in it.
Oh, the one to the south, up here.
Yep. So, if I recall correctly, we want to focus fire on the fragment of the War Raven before it can really make us start bleeding.
Was it a spellcaster?
No.
Okay.
There was a spellcasting something with it in the bedroom, and that's what really screwed you all up in that fight.
Okay.
All right, let me pull up this encounter.
Before we open the door, when we open the door, I would like to just launch a fireball straight in.
All right.
Let me make sure I remember the range, the size of a fireball. So, since this is my old house, how big do I remember this room being?
Well, let's see. Approximately like 30 by 50.
Okay. So I will be launching a fireball straight at the back wall so as to not have it come flying out at the person who opened the door.
Whoops, I've already got a fireball, don't I? Yep, I left it right over here. So let me see how well you can do this. So you're trying to drop it in like how far back?
I would like to have the leading edge just barely not come through the door.
Okay. Yeah, I think you can do that.
Yeah, because it's a 20-foot radius. So yeah, I
All
should be able to do
right.
it. So then the question becomes, which one of you brave souls is going to open the door?
Which door are we at now?
The south door in this room.
Oh, see, I didn't even realize it was protecting a door.
Yeah, that one.
All right, fine.
It still does get close as well.
Sticking it in.
Door opens and big boom happens.
Oh, to drop the fireball where you want, you're gonna have to be like next to Lexi,
Okay,
because you have to drop it where you can see.
there we
There you
go.
go.
Yeah, kind of like that.
All right. So everybody, go ahead and roll initiative for me.
That fireball can happen before initiative, right?
Oh, I suppose.
I mean, if not, I'll just have it be the very first thing I do. Either way, I'm keeping that roll.
All right, and I don't have initiative from Lexi.
Sorry.
No worries.
$16.
Oh, and I should add Stultus real quick.
Much better than last time.
All right, Lexi. 16, Auric 10, Cyrus 9. All right. So first thing, lots of deck saves. Fragment of the War Raven got a 2 on the die, so he's going to go ahead and burn his legendary resistance to take half. What was the damage total?
The total was 39, so half is 19.
One creature dies before you even see it.
Good.
Appreciate that.
Make them visible so you have to confront the weight of your crimes. All right, yeah. One of them just dies. The other one gets a 17, but your save is 18.
18.
Oof.
Did I just murder 2/3 of the encounter with one attack?
You might have.
All right. So, well, the fragment of the War Raven is first. So it is going to. It doesn't really have a great way to get through, so it's going to make some attacks at Lexi first.
Go figure.
First one is only an 11. It's going to miss. Second one is a 23.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Did you? I'll let you be in a rage, but you need to mark off a fresh rage.
Okay, give me 1 second to get that. Oh, bonus action. There we go.
So that's 6 slashing reduced to 3, and 19 necrotic reduced to 9.
Okay, so 12.
You do have a
My
necrotic wound.
reaction. Okay, and can
You
I
do have your
react?
reaction. Yep.
4.
All
I
right.
rolled a 1.
So Lexi is next.
All right, let me see if I can't see the actual thing here.
Also, can just
Um,
nudge you into a full square. There we go.
okay, yeah. All right, I'm gonna attack the thing that's right in front of me. If I can get to the right place. There we go. Okay. Stabby stab with my speary spear. 17.
17 will hit.
Okay. 13 points of piercing. And 3 points of lightning.
All right. So go ahead and make your other attack, and then we'll
Okay.
describe the room a little better.
Okay. Okay. 15.
15 also hits.
All right. Again, 13 points of piercing and another 3 of lightning.
All right. So as you burst into this room, at first it is this sort of blinding flash of impressions. As soon as the door opens, Oryx Fireball goes curving into the room, hits almost dead center, and explodes. So the first thing you see is a curtain of flame rolling over this space. And as it starts to clear, you see the fragment of the War Raven stalking towards you. It lashes out, stabbing down at Lexi with a blade very similar to Cyrus's Blade of Ill Omen. Once this initial flurry is over, you get a better glimpse of the room. And even washed with fire, it's hard to miss the kind of space this is. Lexi, you're the only one who has set foot in the room. There is something profoundly unsettling about being here. It's almost like the front half of you is in a freezer and the back half of you is in sort of normal air.
Lovely.
But it's not just a physical sense of chill. This room is almost silent except for this rapidly fading sound of crackling flames. But you hear more than that. There are these layers of sounds in this room. And you're trying desperately not to hear any one voice and what it's saying.
Mm-hmm.
But the tone is horrifying.
Yeah.
In the center of the room is a long, what can only perhaps be described as a slab. It's almost 15 feet long. And the surface is scoured with not just these most recent burns, but all manner of the strange marks that you have seen of magic and unusual effects damaging the environment. You see scratches and fractures. You see places of burnt and melted material. What you can also see Can you see the thing with the X on it?
Yes.
Behind the fragment of the War Raven, there are two other creatures in this room. The first was something malformed and viscous that was attempting to emerge from what can only be described as a drain. Whatever it was mostly scoured away by Oryx fire. The other thing, though, is a large spectral humanoid form. It's 9 or 10 feet tall. It has the sort of delicate features of an elven woman, but scaled up closer to a giant. What you can see is that it's actually formed of like wisping spirals of other spectral shapes, all sort of forming together into this singular shape. And it is filling back in where the fire burned parts of it away. And its eyes are full of anger. It is Stultus's turn. Stultus is going to squeeze past Lexi and is going to I think he's going to use his breath weapon. He can't quite catch both of them, but he might be able to just go ahead and drop the War Raven if he gets good rolls. He does not, because the War Raven saves. But he still does 28 damage, reduced to 14. The War Raven is only barely held together. It's taken a lot of blows very quickly. Auric, you're next.
I am going to continue to purge the memory of my ancient sins. With Stultus now in the room, is there a safe place to drop a fireball that won't hit him? I'm thinking probably like here.
Yeah, let me rebuild my fireball real quick. I wish it would just deploy at its correct size.
Right.
Yeah, you could hit both of the creatures and not Stultus.
Perfect, and I have line of sight to that spot. So another fireball. Oh. Yeah, so it is once again an 18 dexterity save.
Both of them are going to fail.
All right, so that's 31 fire damage.
That is going to drop the War Raven. I guess I should store this and not get rid of it, because it seems like you are in a mode right now. All right. All that is left is this sort of spectral elven form.
And end my turn.
All right. Cyrus, you're up.
I don't think I can see. I don't think I can see what's on the slab, can I? Spectral form doesn't look like I've got lined.
No, you don't have it from there.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta imagine Cyrus's perspective on this has been rather interesting. It's just been like door opens, boom, and like 6 seconds later, boom. Now everything's gone, and I can like see like a fraction of the.
I mean, I think also if you all want to, it it would not be unimaginable to make an insight check here on why Auric just went kill it with fire on this room because you have no explanation. You don't
True.
understand why Auric just double fireballed this room.
All right, Cyrus is gonna take a shot. Oh yeah. Oh, that one.
Damn.
Cyrus is clearly Auric has just been hit a lot and is tired of getting hit, and so he's shooting first.
I think as this fireball almost scorches Stultus, he does turn around and look over his shoulder at Auric and give you a very knowing look. All right. So, what would you like to do?
All right, I guess Cyrus will move up. Has this thing even been aggressive? Has it
Nope.
had a turn?
Nope.
It's
But
got
we know
very angry eyes.
it's got very angry eyes, and we know it's undead.
You do know it's undead.
Okay. All right. Well, nothing in this place has ever been any good, so I guess we'll still go with the old hide and shoot. All right, so that's a 31 stealth. I'm guessing it does not see me
Let me double check.
unless it has like true sight. No,
It
come
has
on.
60 feet of true sight.
Dadgummit.
Not that you would have any way of knowing that, but
Yeah. As far as Cyrus is concerned, he's hidden. Oh yeah. Does ill omen do anything when I turn it back into the bow?
it's still acting a little weird. Like
Okay,
nothing that is actively hindering you,
sure.
but like yeah, it definitely is still like twitching sometimes, getting hot, getting cold. Never like searing your hand, but
29 to hit
that'll hit.
for 10 damage.
All right. Anything else?
Um, no, I guess I don't really want to be in the room. I kind of want to be able to keep seeing it, so I don't think I'll move. So,
All right. This creature, this amalgam of spirits, you see more and more of these. It's almost like a mist rising off the floor. But you can see that the mist is made of like slender, grasping hands. You see like the thick arm of like an ogre or a troll mixed in occasionally. And you see this mist is sort of swirling up into the creature and it floats forward. It doesn't even seem to be in a rush. And it's just going to reach out a hand and touch Stultus. So as this creature reaches out, it whispers a word. But when I say whisper, it's as loud as a shout because it's dozens or hundreds of voices whispering the same word. And you hear it in all these different registers and all these sort of different unusual sort of qualities to the word. And it reaches out and it touches Stultus. And you see a lot of the mist that is sort of pouring up and off of it pours into Stultus. It flows around his head, and you see parts of it going into his eyes and his nostrils and his mouth. It's flowing under the scales on his body, and he is like lifted up for a moment and is just now just exhaling this mist in this wordless scream. Stultus takes 14 points of psychic damage. But this mist, it doesn't stop. This mist that pours out of him sort of twines together again. And it doesn't quite form a humanoid shape. It's almost more like a spear. And it swoops through Lexi and through Cyrus. And Auric, you see it approaching, and it sort of spreads back out into a humanoid form and crashes over you.
All right.
Each of you takes 15 psychic damage. And, oh, that's the only kind that Lexi does not resist.
I do not resist psychic.
Is this an attack?
So this is, believe it or not, this is a pre-written creature that just happened to do exactly what I needed it to do.
Can I dodge this?
Yeah.
It doesn't have an attack roll or a saving throw, only for the initial target.
Okay.
Can I react to it?
I think so.
Okay.
You can definitely use the like big hero light.
Okay.
Let me double check the
Blinding. You mean the blinding light?
Yes.
Okay. The creature has to make a Constitution saving throw.
I was trying to see if you could just do the normal one.
I can do I just rolled the normal one and I got 8. So.
The normal one requires it to deal damage to you with a melee attack,
Oh.
which this one isn't.
Damn it.
So this washes over you all. And again, it's so many impressions, so many moments all sort of woven together that mercifully it's hard to pick out any one thing. There is an impression of pain. There is an impression of helplessness. You catch little glimpses of like the sort of high fae who have more of elven forms. You see some of them sort of dragged away from a battlefield in the wake of a loss. You see a troll bound up with cold iron chains. You see pixies that are caught in nets threaded with cold iron shards brought back to this place. You catch glimpses of what you would recognize as sort of a horrifying, nightmarish caricature of the Blackthorn. This sort of cackling, foul old wizard And there's just a moment where you're overwhelmed by the horrors in here. It is Lexi's turn.
All right. So there is the gray lady in front of me. And then there's further down the thing with the X. And the thing, just making sure I've got my eyes dotted and everything. The thing with the X cannot, it's dead. Like, it can't do damage, right?
Yes, it is dead.
Okay. So the only thing that's available for attacking is this gray lady.
Yep.
Okay. Which I kind of get the feeling is a little ethereal and cannot necessarily be hit with my stuff, but I will try to stab with my spear. And that's a 25.
25 will hit.
Okay. And 8 piercing damage. Plus 3 lightning damage. And roll it again. 23 to hit.
That hits.
And roll again. That's 10 points of piercing and 3 points of lightning.
All
Okay.
right. It is. You can see that it's becoming ragged.
Mm-hmm.
There is not enough of this substance left flowing into it. It is starting to sort of fall apart into tatters at the edges, but it is not yet dead.
Okay.
It is Stultus's turn. Stultus is going to make... We're going to call this a charisma save. There's no effect here, but Stultus is... Stultus is a lot more emotionally and mentally messed up from this than you all probably were.
Mm-hmm.
He manages to sort of get it together. And he is going to try and cut into this thing. Appropriately enough, he swings and misses. Lexi and Cyrus, give me a perception check.
Dirty 20.
8.
Cyrus, I think you're focused in on this monster and not necessarily watching Stultus. Lexi, you catch this. There are smoldering, sort of gray-green tears running down Stultus's face. Auric, it is your turn.
Okay. Can I get to this space? Was that thing there?
I think you could get here, but it's going to be in your way.
Okay. Can I see her from here? It looks like I can see part of her.
Yeah.
That's good enough. Magic missile. Dart number 1 does 3 damage. Dart number 2 does 3 damage. Dart number 3 does 3 damage. And I meant to say that that was going to be quickened, so it's a bonus action.
All right.
It's So then I can still cast a cantrip. And I will attempt to firebolt her.
Do you have a cantrip with a saving throw?
Oh, I do, yes.
I'll say because if you firebolt, you're probably going to be. I mean, that's probably like half or three quarters cover.
So that would be disadvantage then, right?
Let me double check. 3/4 cover is +5 AC and to AC and dex saves.
Okay. So it doesn't impose disadvantage on me, though.
No.
I'm going to keep my roll because I rolled a 29 to hit.
Yeah, that will probably hit.
It was nearly a crit. For an extra 10 fire damage. Or that would be 14 fire damage.
Your firebolt arcs around the corner and blasts out like the lower half of this thing, and it, whatever is holding it, seems to fade, and it falls. And you can see there's still this sort of like ankle level mist, and out of the mist for a moment you see like hands. First like a slender elven hand, then like a huge troll arm, and then like a tiny pixie hand, and they are trying to drag themselves towards Auric. And then finally, they dissolve.
All right, we can close that door. No need to look in there.
Are y'all gonna let that stand?
No, I think Cyrus is like, ah, come on, we came all this way.
So Cyrus, I think at this point you notice. So I think both of you notice this. So Cyrus, you say, or sorry, Auric, you say this, and there's a weird resistance when you say it. Like you speak the words, but then also there's a sense of like almost like you tried to pull on something and you found it was suddenly much heavier than you expected it to be. And at the same time, Cyrus, you see Stultus is still standing in this room, and this sort of strange it's almost like an opalescent liquid, thinner than what you've seen sort of fey blood before, but this sort of opalescent liquid, and it sort of sparks and evaporates as it runs down. But you see Stultus standing here with these visibly sort of streaking down from his eyes.
Does it look like the shade? Or
No.
oh, okay.
Stultus, buddy, are you okay?
Stultus doesn't seem like possessed or anything. Even with the difference in sort of body language and physiology, Stultus is sobbing is not quite the right word because Stultus is not an entity who sobs. He has clamped down on most of the physical reactions, but these sort of simmering tears are just falling freely as he stands here.
Cyrus will walk over to the table. Can I tell anything about it being closer?
In this case, I'm going to say, give me a religion check with advantage.
Dirty 20.
With a 20, you identify this thing that you just fought as a gallows speaker. And I will send you the description for the gallows speaker. And we'll see what you make of it. Lexi, what would you like to do?
Sorry, I was opening the gallows speaker that you just sent us. Hmm. I'm kind of tempted to come in here and see what else is in here. If I can get myself to move. Oh. I accidentally shut the door on myself. I was like, why can't I move? And I realized the door was shut.
So I think we'll leave with what Lexi finds here. 85% of what was in this room was destroyed. You find like a bunch of shattered potion bottles, like a lot of them. But one thing you find that stands out is on this table over here. There's a tray, and it almost looks like a sort of very old arcane version of like a surgical implements kind of tray.
Okay, yeah.
There are 6 daggers laid out on it.
All right.
With no arcana check, with no background whatsoever, these are the most horrendous looking things you have ever seen. Something about them feels profoundly wrong.
All right. It's
And
like
set in a rack behind them are 10. They're sort of halfway between like a vial and a crystal. And it's set in a rack of 10. And you can see that 3 of these have the same sort of blue, green, white mist swirling around them that this gallows speaker was made of. And the other 7 look to be empty or inert.
all right.
It's about the only thing in here that survived.
Okay.
So we're just going to leave this here as this room continues to smolder, as Cyrus ponders what the nature was of this creature and why it was in this place, as Stultus just stands sort of unseeing in the center of the room, tears running down his face, and Auric waits in the other room, refusing to step inside. That's where we're going to leave us, and we'll come back next week.
I was gonna poke it with my.
It's all right. We'll pick up here. All right.
Bye,
Internet.
The daggers with my light star.
Recording stopped.